while we are moving towards AI in a fast and a furious manner, my talk today will be concentrating on how we can build that and do that securely and responsibly. So I'm going to talk little bit about culture and also about technology and how we can bridge the two together to build a secure and responsible AI framework, applications, and how we can build them and use them in our businesses today. Let me talk a little bit about what AI is today. Now, all of you know that AI is very powerful today. You have agents doing things which were unimaginable. For example, today morning only I found one AI researcher saying that he had used an agent to shop online. So, and he used ChatGPT's agent. What it did was, it first tried out on Amazon, and Amazon was restricting it. Then it moved to Flipkart, leaving aside the login flow where the individual had to put an OTP. He could stimulate the entire shopping journey of using AI and AI agent. So therefore, you can imagine how powerful it would be. And today, agents will start doing things for us which we never imagined earlier. So how do you move ahead with this technology in a secure way? Because what happens is that you also have these agents available to be hacked and also to be used for other things as well. For example, in a recent conference in DEF CON, which is one of the premier conferences in the international world and world arena, what happens is that they showed that Copilot Studio could easily release the data of customers and this private PII data by just a small prompt injection attack which was being done. So that means you have an agent which is responsible for doing a certain task, but it can also be manipulated to being changed into and revealing information which is not supposed to do so. But now it's not all scary if we do it in a proper way. So what we want to see is that while AI matters, we need to understand what kind of risks does AI bring about. Now those risks can be simple examples of data risk, which I mentioned earlier, being leaks and exposures, or it could be the model itself could be poisoned. That means you have a model which has been fed with data which is not supposed to be, it's not supposed to be trained on, and then finally you all obviously have issues around resilience, around reputation risk, and also around the trust with the customers. Today, if a customer is expecting a clear opinion on a particular topic, let's say you go to a medical website and you are expecting certain clear medical advice, you don't know what the advice is coming from. Is the advice being generated by a real doctor or is it being generated by AI? So you don't want hallucination to happen. So therefore, those trust risks also are clear. Now, how do you counter and how do you manage all these risks? While you are working about it, what is also a counterpoint is that there are certain most countries and organizations have also decided that AI today is a boardroom and a nation level strategy. So, for example, Trump has already said that they'll remove all barriers to American leadership in the race for artificial intelligence. And both EU and Australia have also said that their regulations may be removed to ensure that the AI journey moves fast and furiously. So, in a similar way, today our boards and our leadership and our even the investors in public companies would be expecting the companies to go ahead and work on AI in a fast way. But then the whole question is, what should be our strategy? You should obviously have a strategy around, in one way, in what I propose is that you secure the code and also you shape the culture. That means you secure technology with various methodologies and controls, and also you shape the culture by building awareness and also ensuring that your people in your organization are also aware of what the risks are, and wherever you allow them to have a free hand or experiment, they do it responsibly. So if I talk a little bit about technology, you can break this out into 4 layers. First, obviously, is your infrastructure. This infrastructure could be your cloud environment, where, let's say, AWS, which is being talked about in this conference, or it could be your own graphical processor units which you're running. So you need to ensure that the infrastructure layer is running securely. That means it's been designed and hardened effectively. And then once you move up the value chain, then you have the data. Where is the data coming from? Is your training data, let's say an example could be that a lot of data scientists download data from internet or from open sources. Is that data secure? Is the data effectively validated? And is it giving the right results? And obviously, how do you manage, classify, also ensure the sensitivity of the data in mind? That means if you're handling PI records or patient records, how are you securing them? And then once you use a model, how do you know whether the model is secure or not? For example, a lot of you must be aware or maybe using Hugging Face. So while Hugging Face has model cards, it also can give you a rating of what kind of models you can download. But the only challenge would be that how do you know that what kind of models are being downloaded by your developers or engineers and how are they using them? So does your organization have a policy around that? Similarly, if you're using any open source model or a pre-trained model, is that both effective for your organization and is it the right one and does it have the necessary safeguards as well? And then obviously, once you build an application, an AI application on top of it, are you securing it? That means either a simple example would be that are you ensuring that the right input prompts are coming to it and you're not being subject to prompt injection? Or if you're securing the input parameters, are you ensuring that the right output is coming out? That means are you not, I hope the model is not being subjugated or into giving output which is not what is expected to do so. For example, if you're chatting with an e-commerce application or an e-commerce chatbot, it should not be giving you medical advice. Or if you're chatting with a medical chatbot, it should not be giving you advice about something else. So that means it's both harmful for the organization because it can overrun. I've heard examples, in fact, of people launching, organizations launching chatbots and they being used like normal advanced ChatGPT Pro versions rather than the actual intention of the chatbot which was supposed to do. Because some hackers obviously managed to manipulate it into jailbreaking it and using it for other purposes than what it was designed to. Then moving on, once you understood and implemented the technology part, I think as all of us would understand, it's very important to get the right culture and this right environment for all this. You can do all the training can do all the learning you want, but if you're not able to implement it effectively by getting the right environment for your organization, you'll not be able to go effectively in your AI journey. And for that, obviously, you need to have certain guidelines and policies. That means maybe an overarching AI policy in your organization, and then followed by a specific usage guidelines both for employees and also for your engineers and for practitioners or data scientists who are leveraging that. On top of that, having a defined AI literacy program at the organization level and even maybe in your team level. I remember when we started in our AI journey, while there was an organizational initiative, I created an AI literacy program within my team to ensure that we had the right set of skill sets. And surprisingly, it was prepared just from open free Coursera courses. Obviously, they were audited. They're not. You didn't get the certification if you didn't have a license for Coursera, but it was adequate enough to do that. And then obviously you need to keep security and ethics in mind. This can also be done by having security spokes or champions in every department, which could both learn and disseminate these aspects which you are building upon. And finally, I think very important is the transparency and trust aspect. In fact, I was reading about how can you implement trust and transparency in an effective manner. It's similar to what I was mentioning earlier. The way we used to do it in privacy. In privacy, whenever you see an organization, you have a privacy policy in which you can go through to see how your organization is securing your private data. Similarly, I think you will start having responsible AI policies wherein you tell your customer what are you using AI for and what are you not using it for. And so if you generate an image, you need to tell responsibly that this is AI generated image. If you're giving advice, let's say you have a therapist today, online therapists and also you need to be sure that is it an AI chatbot or is it a qualified therapist who's actually giving advice. That transparency and trust is very essential. And finally, obviously, you try and bring both code culture together, and that obviously is something which, let's say, talks about trust and resiliency. So you try to build AI secure and trustworthy systems by building and collaborating technology and culture together to build an effective, responsible AI system which can help us both advance our knowledge and our business, but also do it in a secure and an effective manner. Because an AI strategy isn't about only code, it's also about culture.